Tim, you almost called it. You'd sent a text to the group about an hour ago when we found out the Phillies managerial job is open. It was offered to Alex Cora. He has declined per Bob Nightingale. He wants to spend time with his family.
Yeah, it was one or the other, but I would not have been surprised if Alex Cora took the Phillies job.
And then the manager of the Phillies will end up in Boston. They'll just flip-flop jobs. Two of the highest payrolls in all of baseball don't have managers. And then you got the Mets, who are a mess, too. So spending more isn't always the answer.
The Red Sox are nowhere near the highest payroll in baseball.
Are they not? I thought they were one of the more higher ones. They're in the upper half.
They're in the upper half, but I don't even think they're top 10.
That's all right. You're in the upper half.
They stopped spending.
And they'd also traded Mookie Betts.
Exactly.
But the Mets, highest payroll in baseball, doing horrible. And now the Phillies are firing their manager, and I believe they have a top 5 payroll in baseball. So not good for those really expensive teams. We do have Eric Erlinson going to join us at 12:45. We'll talk Lightning hockey. We'll get ready for the game that is not tonight because it's tomorrow. Why did we need the extra day off? I don't like the extra day. Now I got to try to watch the game on the plane. And then I was thinking about it, Tim. I started to see, my brain never shuts off. I'm doing yoga this morning. Don't laugh. All right.
Yoga?
Yeah, I went and did yoga 5:45. I do yoga pretty much every morning at 5:45.
There you go, Nick.
I'm like Lane Kiffin.
Got to stay flexible.
And I've been doing it before Lane, though. I was doing it before it was cool. And the wife and I usually go, and I'm in the middle of, my breathing, and all of a sudden I'm like, and she's like, mountain pose. And I'm like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, my God, is the plane going to have TNT? Because I think the game is on. So then I'm doing yoga, and I'm like, oh, my God, I don't know if the plane's going to have TNT. So I'm a little concerned about that right now because I believe the game is on, because it's been alternating every other game. Well, they were on ESPN last.
Well, what airline are you flying?
Delta.
They've got to have TNT.
I know they definitely have ESPN. TNT, I don't know.
They have to. Turner Broadcasting is a very popular.
No worries. They're on ESPN2 tomorrow.
So now you got to worry about if it's on ESPN2, not
yeah,
TNT.
Now I got to wonder, does Delta have ESPN2, which I think they do. The things that I think about. And see, this is what's great about having the radio show is I can tell you guys about this and you understand. I tell this to my wife, and she's like, you just worry about the dumbest things ever.
That's a valid concern for you.
It is a valid concern. It's work.
Yeah.
I always tell her I need to watch this game so I can try to make enough money so you don't have to work one day. I have pulled that card a few times. That's the best part about this job. I'm like, we got to be home at 1 o'clock. We got to watch the Lightning game. If you want to be able to not work one day, I got to be able to see that game. Let's see, ESPN2, is that on Delta? Yes, it is.
Oh, hallelujah.
Let's go.
Nick. Hallelujah.
I'll be watching the Lightning on the plane ride. I might even start a Let's Go Lightning chant. And then maybe, you never know, I'll be watching the Lightning in Canadian. I might just start chanting USA. USA. Somebody messaged the station, and they were like, I'll never listen to Nick Wise again. He is anti-American, not wanting us to chant USA at the game. I'm like, I'm literally in the video wearing an Army-Navy sweater. I'm not anti-American. I just thought you don't chant that at a game. And also, some people are saying, well, they showed Team USA's goalie on the screen, so maybe it wasn't as bad as it seemed. And if that's the case, I forgive the Lightning fans. And I guess that was warranted. But, man, that take has gotten a lot of people talking. On social media, I would say it was 60-40, 60% of people agreed with me. But there's one lady in our office, like, she's still talking about the video, and she's like, why would you say we can't chant? I'm like, it's Team USA's not playing, that's all.
That take is over a week old.
It's so old, and it keeps getting brought up to me. I'm not anti-American. Like I said, I was literally, when I said it in the video, I was wearing an Army-Navy hoodie. It doesn't really get any more American.
We reiterated that 100 times.
Yeah, it doesn't really get any more American than that. All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. Are the Rays really good, or is it still too early to tell? Because, look, we are now a month in. I think the baseball season started, March 28th? Here we are, April 28th. We're 28 games into the season. We are 1 month into the season, and I think the Rays are a better than average team in a below average American League. Is that fair? I think that's a very fair statement to make. And they never die. Like, look at last night's game. They looked lifeless. That game was flying by until I gave it the, I guess you could call it an announcer's jinx, Tim. I was packing my bags, getting ready for my trip. I'm not going to be here for the rest of the week. Today is my Friday on the air. Tomorrow you got Rays baseball during the day, and then Thursday, Friday, Rock Riley will be filling in. I'm packing, and I'm watching the game at the same time, and I made the comment that I shouldn't have made out loud. And that comment was, it was like the fifth inning, and they were only, it was like an hour into the game. It was already the fifth inning, and I'm like, oh, man, this game is at record speed. And I think I cursed it right then and there because the game ended up being a normal time game. It wasn't like it was a super fast game by any means when it was all said and done because the team started to hit the baseball a little bit more than they were in the beginning of the game. But the Rays looked lifeless there in the beginning. They didn't get the first run until the sixth inning. And, of course, the Rays do it how they always do it. It's like the Rays, they don't want to score first. They want to let you – it's almost like when you're playing basketball in the backyard with your little brother and you give him the lead for a moment, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to take this from you and win the game. That's what the Rays continue to do, it feels like, every single game because – Cleveland goes up. They get 2 runs in the fifth. And then here comes the Rays. They're like, oh, you know what? That's cute and all. We're going to get one of those runs back right here in the sixth. We're gonna let you feel like you got it for a couple more innings. And then the Rays put up 2 more in the eighth. And that was enough to get the job done. Although Brian Baker did make us sweat it out there in the ninth. And I was yelling at my TV going, can we just once? Does anybody else do this when the Rays are on? Can we just once have a 1-2-3 no stress inning? I just want a 1-2-3 stress-free inning. That's all I want out of my ninth inning. I don't know if we've gotten that. Tim, do you have a spreadsheet for that ninth inning?
Not yet.
All right. Can we get one? Because I'd like to know in the ninth inning when the Rays have the lead, I'd love to know how many 1-2-3 innings they had. Now, kudos to Brian Baker. He got out of the jam with a runner on second and third with only 1 out. And he had a couple big strikeouts there at the end of the game. Those were massive. But, man, I was stressing it. I'm like, come on. Like, 1-2-3, that's it. That's all I want. Come up to the plate, go sit down. But it's never like that. It's always a roller coaster. Now, more likely than not, more often than not, it's been ending as a happy ride, and we're all good. It's stressful the whole way up.
They took their cue from the Bolts the other night.
Yeah, the Rays are like, it was kind of played out the same. The Rays are like that roller coaster. Like it goes, it's like tick, tick, tick. You're just thinking about it. You just want to get to the top already, and then it just comes flying down. You're like, oh, thank God they got out of it. But are the Rays a good team, or is it still too early to judge the Rays? 888-388-0957. I think the Rays are a better than average team in a below average American League. And again, they never die, but the NL Central, there's been a lot of chatter about the record against the NL Central. I don't know how good the NL Central really is. I looked up their record against the AL. Now, keep in mind, I'm throwing out a lot of numbers out here. I know it can get confusing sometimes. The Rays are 12-1 against the American League. Their one loss was to the Twins back when it was like snowing in Minneapolis in the beginning of March, if you remember back that far. The NL Central, what do you think, Tim, the record is of the – I'll ask you first before I throw it out because this is pretty impressive. What do you think the NL Central's combined record against the AL this season is? They have played let me try to do the math here.
How many games total?
That's what I'm trying to add up here. I got the wins and losses in front of me. I'm trying to add it up. It would be 70.
70 games?
They played 70 games. The NL Central against the AL. What do you think their record is in 70 games?
That's a good one. I'm going to say they are 38-32.
So, first off, I was shocked that they played 70 games. Remember when the AL and NL never played?
They only played in July. I missed that.
See, I don't. We play so many baseball games. Give me more teams. I'm okay with it. The NL Central is 44-26 against the American League.
Wow.
I don't even know if I'm being fair calling the American League average right now because it's not at the moment. But the Rays are 5-10 against the NL, 12-1 against the AL. The one thing about the Rays, that worries me a little bit, the run differential only being at 0. They're even with all these runs they've put up. It's still sitting at 0, which is good for 12th place in Major League Baseball. 7 of the 11 teams with a better run differential are NL teams. And, of course, the Rays have the 24 errors, which is the second most in baseball. But I do think they are a really good team because I think the errors are things that they can clean up. And they have been cleaning those up. A lot of those errors came in the beginning of the year. I know we're kind of still in the beginning of the year, but, those came in the first couple of weeks. They've been playing pretty clean as of late, at least much cleaner than they were at the start of the season. And I try not to judge a baseball team until after 40 games, and we're still 12 games away. But I still think when we look at this team 12 games from now, I have the confidence level that I'm going to feel the same way about them then as I do right now. By the way, they got the Giants this weekend. Can we win a series against the NL? The Giants aren't that good. They're under 500 right now. Send the Giants in here. Let's take our anger out for them stealing Mike Evans. Let's put a pounding on San Francisco when they come here. And let's get a couple wins over the NL. But I think sitting at 28 games, I can make the fair assessment. I think this team is pretty good, and they have raised my expectations a little bit. Am I overreacting, Tim, or do you think I'm fair for this?
No, when the Rays played Pittsburgh and nearly got swept, that was the moment for me where I'm looking at this team going, what we saw at the beginning, that's all fluff. But after nearly getting swept by Pittsburgh, nearly getting swept by Cincinnati, and to still play the way they are, I think this team is legit. I think this team actually has a chance at a postseason run.
Yeah, I did my best to not overreact to what happened in Pittsburgh because that really was an ugly series, and honestly, they should have been swept had there not been a rain delay. They were losing that game with Paul Skeens, so they got a break there in Pittsburgh. I'll go ahead and admit it, but I did my best to not overreact to that series, and I'm happy I didn't because they faltered a little bit against Cincinnati. Of course, they saved it there in Game 3. But then they turn around and they sweep the Twins, who have been playing pretty good baseball, and Taj Bradley hadn't lost all year. Now, granted, maybe the Twins are stacking up wins against the AL teams. I don't know. But I think the Rays are a better than average team, and they are a good ball team. And I don't think it's too early to judge them. And I don't think it's too early to change your expectations on the Rays either, because I had them as a 500 team. I now have the expectations. You got to get into the playoffs. And the AL East isn't as good. Now, and look, it could still be early, and this could all change, but I don't see the Red Sox turning it around. They just fired the entire coaching staff, although they are putting some wins together now, oddly enough. Toronto seems to be having a World Series hangover. And Baltimore is Baltimore, and the Yankees are always going to be what the Yankees are. But I tell you what, Tampa Bay being this good has the rest of the AL East scared, because you don't want Tampa Bay to be the team that's good, because they're the team that was supposed to finish in last place. But I've changed my expectations a little bit. I went from thinking they should be a 500 team to I think they should. I thought they should keep us entertained until Buccaneers training camp in July. Now it's keep me entertained throughout the entire season. If they miss the playoffs, I get it, but keep me entertained and be in that playoff conversation up until the end of the season. So my expectations have changed. I think this is a really good team.